Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Make It a Double Double podcast. Massive episode this week. I'm back. The podcast is back. We had a week off last week. I'm back. I know that's what I'm sure the viewers will come flocking in because Top Dog's back. But speaking of Top Dogs, we've got a very important guest who Mark told me earlier might be the first ever manager on Sorare. So whether he's managed to verify that or not, I'm not sure. But it's another Mark, much better known as YNWA. You'll never walk alone. How are we, my friend?
I'm superb, yeah. No, thanks. You're right. We all came to see your return, and
This is
obviously I get to see it first. So yeah, I've got a front row seat for it before it gets put out on all the various different channels. So glad to be in attendance.
Yeah, it's we tried selling tickets for it at some point, but it all got out of hand and people started cutting in line and stuff, so it just weren't worth it. But to celebrate my return and your appearance on the podcast, the Sorare Saloon has swung its doors open yet again. What drinks have you got on show for us today?
Well, it's a process of elimination. It's sort of Monday night, isn't it? So there's not much left in the fridge on a Monday after a weekend, is there? So Mark kindly got in touch and said, what would the non-alcoholics amongst us like? And I asked what the tap water was like up north, and then sort of like looked in the fridge again. It's good. Well, okay. Well, I gave that choice, and then I thought, well, milk. What about milk? I haven't seen milk on the show before, so it's what Ian Rush drinks. So,
I thought milk was quite an old school shout, so I went even more old school. We still get our milk delivered by the milkman. So what got
it's like a green
proper
top,
bottle for you.
No gold top, silver top.
No, I'm always a green top. But we'll get it in there, make it a double double.
Keep pint of milk. I won't be able to sleep if I had a pint of milk.
I love a pint of milk. What do you mean? You say it like it's caffeinated. What's wrong with you?
I could probably sleep better having a coffee than I could a pint of milk at this time of night.
So
I love a bit of milk.
For anyone that listened to the last episode where milkshake was my surprisingly worst drink that you could possibly pick for me, that would top it because I hate
just a pint of milk. Oh no!
Honestly, I could not. Yeah, so I can have like a bit of milk in a tea or coffee, but I like my tea or coffee really strong, and any like milky or creamy drinks I just cannot stand. So that's
milk for me. I used to deliver papers at a very young age and used to swap a newspaper with the milkman for a pint of milk every morning. Bang, straight down.
I didn't do any.
Come back, wolf half for toast, and after school and play some football. That was it.
What about your alcoholic
lives, though?
Yeah, no, it's not worth it now. What about the alcoholic version then?
Well, it's sort of not quite alcoholic because it's the last can I left back from the fridge, but it looks alcoholic. It is a Guinness 0.0.
Guinness 0.0. So my missus
and
was baffled by that.
I would challenge people to say what the difference is. I can't taste the difference between that and an alcoholic Guinness.
My missus thought I were having her on when I told her that you'd picked a Guinness 0. She don't think they exist.
Pretty much everywhere now.
They do exist because I've had them on nights out before when I'm driving because it is probably the most accurate non-alcoholic drink to the alcoholic version I think I've ever had. It tastes exactly the same.
And that's exactly why I'm not interested.
Well, I've gone for the alcoholic version myself.
Nice.
I prefer the alcohol.
Sure.
Yeah.
You prefer the difference in taste that you can't taste?
Yep.
So mine wasn't a selection of being one preferable than the other. This is just I had an alcoholic versions lying around in the house, so those are the ones I've gone for.
Not surprised.
No. If I didn't have any in the house and the brief was specifically 0% Guinness, I would have got 0% Guinness.
Aaron fully bartender here.
To be honest. Yeah, fucked it to be honest.
Well, had this one not been left over from the weekend, it would have been milk all round, to be fair.
Yeah. Milk. Listen, I'm very happy with the milk. Very happy with the milk.
Cheers.
Cheers, boys. Welcome back to the pod.
Good health. Good to meet you all.
Yeah, you too, mate. So obviously, like I said, it's the YNWA moniker is obviously one that's a lot more well known than probably your face more than anything. How did you come across Sorare? Like, where did your Sorare journey actually start?
Well, it started back in 2018, so it's been a while now.
Long
So
time
it's been
ago.
a labour of love and less love for almost 6 years. But yeah, no, I got into the weird and wacky world of crypto back in 2018 through another well-known football franchise. It's the Soccer Manager franchise.
Nice.
And they were branching out and trying to create a crypto version of Soccer Manager. And there was, pop up, buy these packs, get a few legends, sign up now, some currency that doesn't exist any longer. So, oh, yeah, definitely. So my first rug pull at the tender age of 42, ended up getting involved in Soccer Manager and going, right, it's going into beta. And to this day, it's still in beta. I've lost the wallet with a couple $100 that was sitting on it that I got involved, but that was my sort of like first foray into the wacky world of crypto, and from there, just went down a rabbit hole, joined various different Discords, Telegram groups, and got to know some people that I'd quite happily lend an ETH to if they said, "Hey, I'm short of an ETH. Would I give my brother £100 if you phone me up tonight desperate?" Probably not.
No.
That's just the way in which transactions work with strangers, isn't
obviously
it?
Still need. I need to join more Telegram groups by the sound of things. I am definitely short of an ETH.
There's a few things you're short of.
Yeah, I was just expecting to say just short in general. No.
Yeah, that too.
Happy to be back, pal.
So where was it? So yeah, basically after that, I thought, oh, I'm not going to get burnt again. So I thought I'd go with the safety of a project which had some sports IP. So back then, the old MLB champions, which had these little bobblehead characters, which I think still stand the test of time and versus any other digital assets out there, look very, very strong. But was run by an absolute maniac. But you don't know that until you're balls deep in a project, and you've only taken the fluffy, nice bits that sound good, and then all of a sudden, some guy's out there siphoning money out the back and spending it on lavish items and his lifestyle.
Shocking! It's shocking how often that happens, isn't it?
Not bitter,
platform run by maniacs.
Exactly. Not bitter on that one, but blessing in disguise there was that. We created some sub channels, and a lot of the people from there I'm still very close with to this day. We've got some, a real OG Discord channel with like 14 guys, and it was just the Wild West back then. But that got us into, sharing of knowledge, and it's the sharing of knowledge that then was able to get us involved in more, let's say, better projects. But it was actually through MLB Champions that I met Nicholas for the first time.
Oh, nice.
He was actually also in the Discord channel for MLB Champions. I think he was almost like a fly on the wall, just seeing sort of general behaviour of fans, collectors, how people, complainers, all the things that you associate with the rabble. And he basically, I think he could identify that I was sort of like the lone Brit or lone European operating in a US time zone, and just said, look, we're looking to build something very similar out on a football basis. Would you be interested in having a chat? I was like, yeah, for sure. And it sort of grew from there. We did a little trade event at Stamford Bridge with a table and a laptop. Everyone else was sitting there with like duvets and tankards and everything you can think of that's got a football badge or emblem splashed on it. And our stand was literally a laptop and a desk, and go, what are you doing? Well, we got this concept of selling digital football cards. Maybe you'd like to have a chat with us. But that got us talking to West Ham, which were the first Premier League club that got onboarded. But yeah, that was around the sort of turn of 2018, 19, and in February, March, the platform kicked off and we did our very first auction. I think I will still stake claim to being the first manager on the platform, because I was there with two other guys, and we had the guy on the it was a Jean Armani card, I think it was, from KS Open on day one.
Oh yeah.
And
his auction
went, we all bid once to see.
I've always rated him. Yeah, always rated him.
We all bid on him just to prove that the bidding system worked. I think Nicholas ended up with him. And after that, it was, we had a small closed beta group of 30 guys, and some of the people you might know already, Mamba, Burglu, they're probably a little bit less active now, but they're still big names on the platform, or I think still have relatively large collections. These were amongst the early first managers that got to play the game. This was even still a good year before, I think, Zorao and then the next generation of managers that helped to take us up to, the first 1,000 managers.
That's mad, isn't it? How that's literally 6 years ago, which is nothing, really, when you think about it, isn't it? How you've gone how it's gone from a stand at Stamford Bridge, did you say, to
just like a little merchandising event,
to the platform it is now, with multi-million-dollar pound deals with the Premier League and other leagues around the world. Is mental, really, how that's escalated over 6 years.
Yeah, I say, and it's added a few wrinkles here and there. Late night auctions, certainly in the first couple of years, was mental. Setting alarms for silly times in the morning just to try and snag a player, or sometimes you're the only person on at 4 a.m. You're like, ooh, I'm the only one that woke up for this one. And now it's just like bots everywhere. I mean, I imagine it's very, very difficult. I've not really been in the market much recently, but I imagine it's quite challenging to get what you could then show to someone else and say, I got a bargain.
I think it is still so satisfying, though. Like when you're bidding on someone, and like you're bidding against one other person, and you're just going back and forth, and then all of a sudden it stops. Because I can't remember who it was I was bidding on, but I was desperate to win this card. It might have been like a Burnley number 1, like first mint, and I was like, God, I hope this guy's gone to bed, because I'd just bid like my max. I didn't have any more left in my wallet. I was like, I really hope he's gone to bed. And he was called like Uzbek Trader. So I was like checking like what time is it in Uzbekistan, and it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, oh, he might actually be asleep. And he didn't bid again, and I won it. And then I saw that he'd immediately gone and won the next card. So he'd obviously just fallen asleep, and I was absolutely buzzing. But with bots and stuff now, you can't get those bargains anymore, really, can you?
Even with max prices, like you can put a max bid on now, and you can just go to sleep. And if you don't get it, you go, I don't give a shit. It's more than I was going to pay anyway. So,
bid. Very true.
Maximises Sorare returns, doesn't it? But at the same time, it does take away that challenge of finding an absolute bargain on the market.
But I think you've also got, just in general, lots more fans of every team. So, again, back in the day, West Ham, I mean, Mamba's a West Ham fan. And it felt really weird because, like, I'm bidding up against a West Ham fan for a West Ham player, but I'm knowing at that time that, the Felipe Andersons, the Lanzinis, and even Fabianski, these are cards that you sort of have to have at that early stage because it's either them or the Belgian league. And I felt a lot more confident with, Declan Rice, Lanzini, these sort of players than, swatting up on the Belgian league back then. But I did feel guilty bidding against the West Ham fan. But now, you can't feel bad about, whoever you bid on because there's going to be niche collectors. There's already, massive interest in every single league, even if it's the K League, J League. You've got your experts there, then you've got, cult heroes that everybody wants to try and add to their collection. And like, okay, the nice thing now is there's enough supply by and large for most people to get what they want. And then there's the occasional fight against, the jersey mints or the number ones. But even these now, sadly, we all hoped 3, 4, 5 years ago that the jersey mints might play perhaps a little bit more of a better role or a more prominent role in the overall platform. But as we've seen, and for the good of the platform, it's all about in season now. So it's a very different dynamic in terms of, I think, is it a collective platform?
Yeah.
Probably not. It's probably a push now to say that it's a collective platform. Maybe in 10 years, if we're still here, you can look back and there may be some added interest in some of the very early cards or, the Ronaldos or the Maradonas and things like that. But right now, they're not even getting a second look in the market. And why should they?
I think the door is open for the number ones. And they've done like jersey mint stuff before, haven't they? But I don't remember them doing like a number 1 mint. But like with the special edition hollow one that they've just done this weekend, the door's open for like a classic version of that to do with
Yep.
jersey mints and number ones. So
Mhm.
there's already enough discourse on classic and the prizes that are there for classic. So who knows?
It wouldn't
Who
surprise
knows?
me if you looked at maybe 2 or 3 years time when there's almost 10, maybe like 10 years into the platform, if it's still doing as well as it is. It wouldn't surprise me if they did special weeklies of cards only from the 2021 season to 22 season, or any mint under 100 in limited gets an entry into this, so that you've got some reason to collect them. But at the moment, you can't plan for that. You've just got to buy what you want to buy and hope that when something comes out, you've got it sat in your gallery, because if not, you're then going to pay through the roof for it.
It's like me with Dwight McNeil, isn't it? Like, I've bought a card from every season so far that he's had one, and I will probably continue to do that because he's the greatest footballer of all time. So I'll continue to collect
reinforced
those cards.
by an amazing weekend that we've just seen. Yeah,
Reinforced by being the top scoring forward on Sorare this weekend, apparently, according to Sorare's Instagram. But you know, who am I?
I come on the only week that Everton are going to get 3 points. I believe.
Well, depending on how
But we have got
goes,
we have got
might win
United to
something.
talk about. We have got United to talk about.
Oh,
Don't worry.
we can talk about that
It's a
straight
blockbuster
away.
long edition, is it? This one?
Oh yeah,
We
it
can
can
talk
be.
about that straight away, because how long can a club amble forward as, like, let's face it, I know you're both Liverpool fans, but like, one of the biggest clubs in the world, they always will be. How long can a club of that stature amble forward with absolutely no direction whatsoever?
They've
Hopefully
backed
for a
him as
lot
well, haven't
longer.
I don't get it.
they? They've come out and said that they're backing him. It's not him. It's in all this stuff. So like, he's still going to be there for a long time, apparently.
I just don't understand, because it's like
It's the leaky roof.
it's the waterfalls, yeah. It's the
It's a
waterfalls.
leaky defence.
It's fucking leaky everything when your captain's getting sent off. Absolutely.
It was never a red
shambles.
card. It was never a red card.
But it's Bruno Fernandes. He deserves sending off just for being Bruno Fernandes.
Oh, he's a fucking rat. I get you, but he's never a sending off.
No,
Like,
no,
it's-
I don't think so.
The fact that VAR have looked at that and it's still being a red is, one, an embarrassment just to officiating in general, and two, it just ruined. Well, not ruined the game, because
They were still going to
Spurs
get
stacked it
battered.
all right.
Yeah.
But it was
It didn't, yeah. It make a scrap of difference to the outcome.
it's just embarrassing for the league, though, innit, with decisions like that. But again, I don't think they were going to get a result anyway. They were that bad.
Well, I think they solidified that by taking off Kobe Mainu for Mason fucking Mount. That didn't help, did it?
Wasn't Mino injured?
Yeah, but even still, just don't send anybody else on.
Yeah.
Don't fucking put Mason Mount on. He's a horrible footballer.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, there's two issues: the players that they brought in, but also the implementation of those players on the pitch. Two completely different issues. Because I don't think Erik ten Hag has, I don't know Man United that well, but I don't think he has much choice in who they're bringing in. I think that decision is being made by others. Now, there's some questionable transfers that they made over the years, as we all know. You know, for example, every United fan I've spoken to, their future midfield is Kobe Mainu and Bruno Fernandes, and they had to bring in another. Now, they brought in Manuel Ugarte from PSG and paid like 50 million from him. He's actually no better than Scott McTominay, who they've let go to whoever they let him go to.
Napoli scored in his debut, didn't he?
Flying.
Yeah.
They bloody love. They absolutely love him as well.
The thing
They
is,
got
as
an
well,
assist at the
right,
weekend.
they brought in
Yeah,
Ugarte, who's not a pacey workhorse midfielder. Bruno Fernandes doesn't always work his arse off. You know what he's like. He's a mopey bastard. And Kobe Mainu, for his age, isn't the quickest across the ground. So they need a pacey workhorse, like when Liverpool had Gini Wijnaldum or someone like that. They need someone just to do the doggy work.
That's early, too soon, yeah.
So what you're saying is they need like a strong, powerful runner with the ball, like a box-to-box ball carrying midfielder.
Like Casemiro.
Is this a segue to Dwight McNeil, is it?
No, if only there was like a Norwegian midfielder that was on the books in summer that was going for £20 million, and then they refused to pay it. Like Sander Berge, like just to throw a name out. Yeah. Someone like Sander Berge, like one of the most...
He is a Sorare legend. He's a season one legend, Sander Berge.
One of the most the Rolls-Royceiest midfielders out there.
Also, right, and actually, I take this point was made by Michael Owen of all people. I heard last night, and he was saying, and I was actually quite agreed with him. To be fair, was that they brought in Onana, and we all know he's not the greatest shot stopper, but he is meant to be a good goalkeeper, playing out from the back with his feet. That's what he was meant to be, right?
I think that's harsh on his shot stopping, personally.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's a pretty decent shot stopper.
I think so.
All right, fair enough.
But yeah, he's one of the new age of goalkeepers.
Yeah. But they brought in Delict, who, as far as I'm aware, has got the turning circle of an aircraft carrier and isn't great with the ball at his feet. And it's almost like Onana, he's great with the ball at his feet, but then he's afraid to give it to a defender because they're not good with the ball at their feet. Do you know what I mean? So playing out from the back only goes as far as the centre backs, and then it goes fuck all else because they haven't got the centre backs.
I think like the way it's all well and good saying like, oh, we're going to play out from the back, but like there has to be purpose. Because if you just pass it around your back four, people will do what they do in the Championship. They'll just sit in their own half, put 11 men behind the ball, wait for you to try and break them down, and then when you can't, they'll counter on you. Like it's happened to United now for years.
Did you not see the Chelsea-Brighton game?
Yeah, exactly that. Brighton's fucking line was on the halfway line because they were playing out from the back, one passing behind every time, and Chelsea were through.
Right. And then Chelsea gave away the ball twice for Brighton to score. What were it, 6? What score was that?
4-2.
4-2.
But it was 4-2 at half time, wasn't it?
Yeah, 4-2 at half time. There was 3 offside goals in the first half. There was another disallowed and all this stuff. So it's like that could have been a 10+ goal game purely because of the unorganisation.
Did you see what Enzo Maresca said afterwards?
Oh, go on.
Someone asked him like, oh, Robert Sanchez gave away a goal today, blah, blah, blah. And he said, yeah, we'll give away a lot more goals like that. That's how we play now. Like, how is you passing to someone on the edge of your box and then just tapping it in?
Media training.
It's fucking mental. It's a mental thing to say. Like, yeah, we'll probably pass it to them a few more times, 18 yards out. It absolutely baffles me.
I don't know what Huddersfield did if you've seen the own goal that we scored.
Is this the Hellick one?
Oh, it's the worst goal I've ever seen live. Like, genuinely the worst goal.
That bad?
0-0 at home, passing it round at back, doesn't realise his keeper's not in the net, passes it to him without looking, it just goes straight into the goal.
Oh, no.
No one even...
Oh, no.
I literally sat there and I thought, I've just witnessed that in person, and I'll never forget how I paid to watch that. I paid to go and watch that.
To be fair, I thought Liverpool's goal we conceded at the weekend was bad. See that
what was Canate doing?
He was kind of like leaving it for Alisson, and Alisson like stuttered and then came forward, then went back, then when he came forward, and then I forget which Wolves strike it was now. I think it was Larson got a toe on it or something, and then just squared it.
It was a poor game of football. It was a poor game of football.
Yeah.
That wasn't a great
I think
show for the Premier League.
There was some really poor football this weekend. Like, one in terms of like boring football, and then 2 in terms of like just poor, like Aaron said, with like the errors that were happening and stuff. Luckily,
only 2 clean sheets in the Premier League this weekend or something.
Who kept clean sheets?
Fulham and Tottenham.
Fulham.
Oh yeah, Fulham. Yeah,
Fulham was yeah.
I think they're the only 2.
1-0 and both away from home as well.
Yeah.
Luckily, obviously, the thing that we all wanted to talk about this weekend was the return of the greatest striker of a football, Dwight McNeil. Thoughts like, where do you think in terms
stuff
of
like this does get
football?
edited out at the end, doesn't it? Or does
No.
Unfortunately, Adam does the editing.
Where do you... yeah, that's very true. Where do you think, like on the world stage, where in the top 5 do you think Dwight McNeil finds himself?
I don't know if that's I was going to say, I don't think he would have been a card that anyone would have wanted in season 1 in Sorare. I think we would have all gone for the KAS Open strikers and attacking midfielders first, no?
I will not have Dwight McNeil slander.
I think Dwight McNeil ranks number 1 in current Premier League strikers that used to play for Burnley.
Called Dwight McNeil.
Do you know what?
I don't know.
Actually, that's not a bad category, because Danny Ings is dog shit now. Maxwell Cornet is non-existent. Oh, Chris Wood though.
Yeah,
Chris Wood.
Wood's up there.
I'd rather have Dwight, especially on Sorare. I'd rather have Dwight.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Chris Wood last season did have the highest shot to goal conversion of any player in world football, though. Which I'd
rather Bordeaux had got back up and get the Andy Carroll utility back in the game.
Yeah. This is how does that even come about?
Have you not seen his statement saying that he got offered to go to one of these like Qatar or Saudi leagues and he turned it down? And he said he just wanted to go get him back up. And he's something to do with it. He's actually losing money on what his contract is. So his outgoings every month is less. He's more than what his actual contract is.
He gets $3,000 a month.
Yeah.
But he's enjoying the barbecues with his teammates. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
He loves the barbecue.
But also,
hold on a minute. How expensive is it to live in Bordeaux? I can survive on $3,000 a month. The fucking tight bastard. What's he spending it on?
Well, you would assume that like still got a house over here, kids go to a nice school, all that sort of shit. So like as a footballer that's been on millions and millions of pounds a year, I assume your outgoings are pretty high. Like I think that's fairly safe to assume.
Oh, it's bad money management in my eyes, I think.
Right, so what you're saying is...
Why don't you get an endorsement to subsidise his salary if it ain't enough?
What you're saying is, Aaron...
Sponsorship out there.
You're saying he should have gone to Saudi?
Yeah, fucking do it. Because it's exactly what I'd do if someone offered me fucking 5 or 6 figures a month rather than $3,000. Are you joking? Love a figure in my ass. Sort your bank account out first, man.
Yeah, but imagine being part of the history of bringing Girondin Bordeaux back to Liga.
Could not give a flying fuck about him, to be honest.
Who do you reckon, as in your opinion, is the greatest player to ever play for Girondin Bordeaux?
Oh, it's a great question.
Yeah.
And I think you should ask someone else that knows a player that's once played for Bordeaux. Did Ben Arthur play for him at some point?
Did Papin play for them?
I don't know. He might have done. I were hoping someone would say Henri Saivet because he's the only one that I know and he was a Football Manager legend. I'm gonna look up.
Oh, he was, yeah.
Jean.
I'm just having a look at him, Ben Arthur now and just hoping.
I don't think Ben Arthur did. Because I don't think he did.
Oh.
24 appearances.
What about this guy called?
Did he?
Jean-Pierre Papin did play.
He did. Bordeaux. 55 times.
Yeah, 22
Wow.
goals.
Zidane, did he play?
Zidane did. That's where he went to thingy from, innit? Or was it? What was it? Oh, I don't fucking know. It's been a while since I've watched any football. So let's move away from football. Obviously, I am the resident American on the podcast now. Going to end up moving out there. Maybe like next couple of weeks, I think. Basketball is imminent. Now, Aaron, I know you've dabbled. You dipped your toe a little bit. Mark, did you dip your toe in?
Moderately into Sorare.
You literally did. Aaron got a leg in. You got a toe in.
Mm-hmm.
So I did dive in head first, but it was too cold, so I got out straight away. But you, Mark, are you still big on your basketball? You were very big on your basketball, right?
Yeah, look, I think the way I play the game is I still sadly look at it, well, not sadly, but I look at it from a point of view that there's some first move advantages. And so it could have been synchronized swimming. It could have been any sport. Well, maybe not synchronized swimming, unless it's female synchronized swimming. But yeah, I just felt that even though I don't have the knowledge of the sports, that's something which you can go and acquire, whether you take it on board yourself or you team up with other people. But one skill within Sorare, which does get you hopefully ahead of the curve, is your ability to play the market. And when the first auctions come out on any sports, you can break it down season by season now that there's such a big difference between in-season and classic. But in the American sports, I think when they launch the cards, only people that are already playing Sorare can go into those auctions with any sort of conviction because they have some pre-existing knowledge of what the cards could play out and be of value. And it's no fault of Sorare, but you can't put the new cards on the market and market to a brand new audience simultaneously and expect those people to come through the door Maybe they
And
buy some limiteds
immediately-
on the first day. Maybe they buy some rares on the first day. But there's no way somebody brand new to the platform is going to come in on day one and compete with anybody that has a super rare or a unique already on their account. So, and they might be a fly on the wall. They might watch the first 2 weeks of auctions play out. By that time, you're already behind the curve.
Yeah.
Because the start of the top tables are starting to establish, and they'll start to price out anybody new that's trying to step up and make that, step up from rare to super rare or super rare to unique. Maybe again, we won't see it again as much this season, because I think at all levels it's a case of you're either going to spend or you're going to sit back and you're going to wait and maybe cobble together enough players. But I think it's going to be harder in NBA because the cap makes a hell of a lot of difference. You can't just suddenly, football, you could turn up, you could educate a mate, you could say, right, pick a team, any team, you want to stack, no stack, doesn't matter. But you could get any 5 players, as long as you avoid a DMP, you could get a lineup ready by Tuesday, tomorrow to submit for the midweek games. Whereas NBA, if their deadline was tomorrow, it'd be very difficult, without using the secondary market and even using the secondary market to find 5 players to fit a specific tournament, to fit within the cap. And at that point, you're still going to find it difficult to compete with anybody else because the way in which it works, you really need to be online in the last couple of hours leading into the deadline, because once you hear some injury news, if there's a heavy hitter that's out, everybody scrambles to the market to buy the person that's going to be replacing that person because their cap's going to be more likely not exceeded by 20, 30 points. And if you don't have that card, the chances are you're not going to finish anywhere near a meaningful finishing position. So I think NBA more than anything favors hardcore users over casual users. I think the only way around that is to bring the deadline forward so that everybody commits. And like football, you get a DMP, you get a DMP, live with it, and you fight again the next week. And I think the only way that's going to attract a larger volume of casual users, but that goes against the grain of perhaps some of the other NBA games out there that have got rolling locks and more sophisticated team submissions and things like that. So I think it's hard. I don't know if there's a magic answer for it, but I don't see much new intake of users this year.
Are they not doing rolling locks this year for NBA?
I think on some of the daily games, on the daily.
Yeah, I was going to say, I saw one of the lads mentioned it because for me, I like basketball. The time difference, like you say, for a casual, the time difference kills me. Yeah. I'd much rather wake up the day after and watch the highlights than I would wake up in the middle of the night and watch it live, which you can't then play Sorare very well if you're only watching the game the day after because you can't pick up on injuries, you can't pick up on anything like that.
Especially for us, like the West Coast games that are like 7-8 hours difference. Like it's tough. Like you said, by the time you wake up, if an injury's happened, the player who's going to take his minutes has already been snapped up. All his cards are gone. You're paying a fortune for a player who in 2 weeks' time might not get any minutes. So it's the fastest moving one of the 3 sports for sure on Sorare.
I'd actually be tempted to get back into it for this season for the in-season cards when they drop, mainly because now I've been seeing how the football's worked. If you can get into in-season early, you seem to cash in quite quick. But my issue is with NBA is that you kind of need a lot more depth. Unlike you say, unless you're active on the market. If you're sat waiting for those lineups to come out in injury news, you can pick them up quick. But you've kind of got to have that player if you're not available to be there and ready for it as soon as that news comes out.
You need like a few big cap hitters, a few mid caps that can go big, and a few low caps that if they get minutes they can do this and this and this. Like you can't just chuck out your 5 best players. Like you literally can't do it. So you have to have some relative way of getting that knowledge, like's been said. So I'm tempted to dip my toe in.
Does that mean like
it is fun? I mean, it is fun, and that is what the platform is all about now.
Yeah,
it's about fun. Yeah, it's not an economic simulator. Do not put more money than you can afford to lose at risk. I'm sure you have that disclaimer at the foot of all your podcasts. But look, I think
we will now.
They've got a formula which is there for fun, but I think it's still very difficult to mix people with differing budgets and and different amounts of time that they can spend on the platform. I think the one thing which was good about Rivals, and I dabbled in Rivals for a bit, is that you can pick up and play. It's great. Pick up and play. Choose a game which has interest to you or the people you're with or you're spending time with, and go and play it. It's not that hardcore. Study the press conferences on a Tuesday and Friday, and join as many channels as you go. Oh, is this guy playing? He's 60% here. He's 80% there. He's 10% here. He's down the pub over. He ain't playing at all. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. Whereas the casual versions of the game can perhaps do some damage and bring in some users. With that said, if you look at the history of games, free to play users don't tend to move up the funnel. So it's very, very difficult for, even if they got a new foundation of 50,000, 100,000 people at the bottom end of the market, or the entry end of the market, sorry, how many of those are really going to go on to discover the scarce versions of the cards, which, it's difficult. And so then you get these sort of like resident lodgers sitting at the top, which is fine if you're one of those resident lodgers, because there's, a ton of money to go around between you. But in reality, that doesn't really help the platform take another step to, long-term sustainability, because it's the same familiar faces that are just playing out, and it's an old boys club at the top. And you would hope, even though we are only in season 3 now of both American sports, what we want to see at the top end of the table is more competition. I don't want to be competing with 6 to 8 people on a game week, because that doesn't bode well, I don't think, for the long-term fundamentals of the sport. You want to be in a situation where people go, okay, it makes sense for me now to compete with you next season, but you're still holding some of those legacy cards. You've got the cards from last season. No, I'll stay in my lane, or I'll even drop down a scarcity, because it doesn't make any sense for me to step up. And that's where I think on all sports that challenge has never really been addressed. How can you convince someone to wake up and go, right, I'm blitzing it on rares. I've got to be pushed. I could do really well on super rares. I've never met someone that's gone, I'm going to go up.
Aaron, do you remember when you tried to step up to super
rare? Did I?
Do you remember when you bought Christopher Schindler?
Oh, get fucked. I had this idea of that I could get a good, cheap, super rare team, and the first player I bought got an ACL injury within 48 hours of me buying him. And it
retired.
It retired from the game. It solidified my decision of that I will never own a blue card, I think, in my life.
I think...
Oh, it was horrendous.
Unfortunately, on the football side of things, we seem to be in that reverse at the moment, where people are dropping down to scarcities rather than climbing scarcities.
For the fun of it, rather than
for the fun of it. And
aspects,
it's been widely discussed that super rare is one of the most unattractive, competitions.
Well, this is it, isn't it? The gap. So like the gap between super rare is almost non-existent for people according to the discourse. But like, you see how much money is, if you can throw it at the unique competitions, like how much money is there. Like the prizes are incredible, but then there doesn't seem to be that transfer at super rare, and then it gets a bit better at rare and limited.
Because Mark, obviously you compete at unique level, super rare level. How has that competition changed over the last 2 years? Like your main competitors are probably Nanzo, PSU fans. I guess Pranksy's quite new.
Sure.
He's quite new now. You mentioned sort of like the old boys club a minute ago. Has that changed in any way over the past couple of years, or is it the same guys that you used to competing against?
It does change. I think the numbers don't change that much. I mean, if you go back to the very early stages, Sorare was definitely, I would say, my biggest competitor for 2 years, and we became friends off the back of it. And he was, for me, the benchmark. And then you had Mr. Karapu. I don't know if you remember Mr. Karapu.
No,
who ended up buying a $69 million NFT of a back in the day. And,
as you do.
As you do. And then that went to a lot less than $69 million. But in that process, he spent a considerable amount on Sorare cards. And so he bulldozed his way into the top. Then you had guys like AJ, guys like Max. And then the next generation was your Roxys, and then your Team Bambis, and then your Dukes. And then Pranksy came after that. But when you look at who actually stays and around the top table, it's still only the same. Nanzo, sorry, I forgot Nanzo. But you get these same names over and over again. And I think the only difference now, to your question, 2 years, is that because there's a lot more tournaments, you tend to find. I mean, I just pick my battles more now. I've not put money into the game, so when you look at someone like Bambi or Pranksy, they deserve what they're taking out because they're the main contributors to the economy. You take Bambi and Pranksy out of the game, where would we be? If Roxy didn't turn up when he turned up, where would we be? If Mr. Crapoon didn't turn up when he turned up, where would we be? So I think Sorare have really ridden their luck in terms of the way at Wales have joined the platform at really opportune moments. Like literally one's left, another one's sort of like taken their place because the auction market, as you said earlier, Adam, you could wake up and find that no one else bids on it. Uniques are the ones that are the most sensitive, and it's really eerie when you turn up for a week. And if Pranksy decides tomorrow, that's it, I don't want to spend anything, or Bambi turns around and I think he has slowed his spending, and Duke's slowed his spending. There's no one to take the slack, and you notice that a lot more at the unique level. It's like, hang about. I'm convinced that's a 3 to 4 ETH card. Shit, he picked him up for 1.2, 1.5. There's only so many times you can go to the well and go, okay, well, if the next card like that is only going for 1.2, 1.5, I'll pick that one up. And then you suddenly start hoarding these cards at 1.2, 1.5, and that becomes the normal price again. You're like, I'm not going to use these cards. I was only buying them because I thought they were cheap relative to what things were 2-3 weeks ago. So I think at that top end of the market, there has to remain incentives. And it's nice. It's always good to see success stories. And if someone's taking 10, 15, 20, 25 grand out of the market, which they used to take out on a game week basis back in 2021, 2022, but it's a lot harder to get that sort of extract that yield at the moment. But you need to have those front runners, or you need to have people there that people can look up and aspire to. Now, 99.9% of people will look at it and go, I can't, or I don't want to put myself in that financial position. But at least from the platform's point of view, it shows that there are people putting in and taking out, which can only be healthy. And there are obviously people doing that at every single scarcity as well.
Well, I think the question that follows on immediately from that is, how much daytime television do you watch, Mark?
With the little one, I think the last time I watched daytime television was the Olympics. So yeah, quite a lot of that on in the background.
Is your little one a big fan of Tenable by any chance?
Tenable? Is that a reference I should know? Is it?
Does that mean you've never watched Tenable before? Even better.
Is this
even better.
Family program starring Dwight McNeil? I don't know.
Oh, it's a really shy quiz show, but it's a great quiz show. It's a really good quiz show, and we've adapted it into Tenable. Basically, Mark's going to give you a question. So you're going to have you done 2, Mark, or just 1?
I've done 2.
You've done 2. So you go up against me for 1 round, Aaron for the other, which is always nice because his ball knowledge is not all there.
Hatton Ben Arthur.
All right.
I think Huddersfield and Burnley both might get wins this week.
Burnley won't. It'll be a list. Whatever the question is, it'll be a list of 10, and we'll take it in turns. So like, I'll go, you go, I go, until either we fill the 10 or one of us loses 2 lives.
Fair enough. No, I've seen this format before, and I'm hopeless at it. So
that's what I love. I know. Yeah, I've just seen it as well. Well, what does that do for you, Aaron?
12 points off a tier 2 in Prem.
Oh, nice.
I'm on a tier 3, but it's only 19 minutes in, so go and get that 100.
Plenty of time for red card then.
double. Oh, we'll talk about red cards after this. Mark, in fact, actually, do you want to go up against me or Aaron for the first round?
Bring it on, both of you at the same time. No, I'll go Aaron because he looks distracted. He's actually watching something else rather than putting his focus on this, isn't he?
Disgusting. Yeah. He does it every week. It's disgusting.
Before I mention the categories, I think what I should probably just say is to anyone listening on Spotify, when Mark was talking a minute ago, Adam was not having a piss during that recording. He was pouring himself another drink. Because I don't I don't know if this came through to you guys, but Mark was talking and it sounded like someone was going for a piss in the background because Adam was pouring a drink. So
I'm so sorry.
Adam's averaging a pint of milk every 20 minutes right now.
Well, no,
if you
actually,
edit it well, you could put the sound to when you walked out, and it'll sound like you've had a piss whilst you've left the room as well. So if you could do it that way.
On a strawberry lemonade. I'm not doing that, Aaron.
We get it. You've been to America. You don't need to tell us about it. Come on, let's play a game.
So who's facing up first?
Aaron.
Right. Okay.
Me.
Do you want me to pick the category for you each, or should we let Mark pick the category?
Let Mark pick.
Yeah,
he might help.
So against Aaron, I'll give you two categories. Right. One of them is based around the Premier League. The other category is based around the United States of America.
Oh, great.
Fuck off.
Do you want to face Aaron in the Premier League or the America category?
Look, based on those two, I think I'd rather embarrass myself on getting answers on the Premier League wrong. So I'll go Premier League.
Premier League versus.
No, but I mean, I think that's about the only. Yeah, let's just stick with that.
Okay.
What's
what I would like you guys to name me, and it's current Premier League, by the way. So far this season, I would like you to name me the top 10 Premier League players with the most shots on target.
Okay, number one, Dwight McNeil.
So Dwight McNeil.
Do I go first?
Yeah, you can go first.
So Dwight McNeil is not tenable.
Bullshit. What a shitty start.
Yeah. I thought that were a banker, to be honest.
I think I've
It'd
been
have been my
brainwashed
first
here.
guess.
I really want to say Haaland, but I just assume he scores every shot on target and doesn't have that many. I'm going to say Cole Palmer, seeing as though he got 4 this weekend.
So Cole Palmer, who scored 4 this weekend, is number 4 on the list with 9 shots on target.
When you say shots on target, what you're alluding to there, Aaron, is that if it goes in, it's not a shot on target, it's a goal. Is that correct? So what's the definition of shot on target?
No,
shot on target that goes in is still shot on target.
No, what I meant was if Haaland scored like 6 goals or something, he's only had 6 shots on target. Someone could have had more than him, but not scored as many.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll just kill the game then and lose straight away by saying Haaland then. Yeah.
Haaland's got to be number 1. He's got to be.
He's had 11. He's had 11 or so, hasn't he? So, I mean...
Exactly.
So Erling Haaland is number 1 on the list with 21 shots on target.
Shit,
in what, 6 games? Is it?
Yeah, something like that.
I'll tell you what, if that were Chris Wood, he'd have scored 20.
He would. You're absolutely fucking spot on.
I won't be saying Chris Wood.
Honestly, I was like, that is the ballsiest shout.
I'm going to say Ollie Watkins.
Ollie Watkins?
I would... Surely not Ollie Watkins. I would have said Ollie Watkins.
Is tenable.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
He has the same shots on target as Cole Palmer.
Yeah. Just worse conversion.
Right. I will have to go with... Who's that guy that plays up front for Man United? It's not him, but just want to know.
Josh Zirkzee?
Yeah, won't be him. Let's go Mo Salah.
Mo Salah is second.
He's had some shots.
Second on the list.
Here we go.
14 shots on target.
Mo Salah running down the wing.
So we had 1, 2, 4, 5.
Yeah. So what I will say is some of these guys have got the same amount. So actually the top 12. So from 8 to 12, they all have the same. So I'll accept an answer up to 12.
I've got
You
one
ever
in
thought
mind.
of doing daytime hosting?
Sorry?
You ever thought of doing daytime hosting?
Yeah, I thought about it.
Got the voice.
You know what?
Got the voice.
I actually, fun fact, I auditioned for Tipping Point once.
What, to be on Tipping Point or to be the host?
No, to be on it.
I was going to say ballsy that. Ballsy that.
Yeah. I had to
That
go
host
to,
you got pretty shit. Can I?
I had to go to Bristol and do an audition.
I think it needs to be on record that Tipping Point is top 5 worst game shows of all time. So I'm glad you didn't end up going on.
Who does host it?
It's Ben Shepherd, isn't it?
Ben Shepherd, yeah.
Yeah.
But I would also say probably.
What am I up against here? Look, I can't even tell you a Premier League striker. You go Ben Shepherd. You know.
It just means we all need to get out of the fucking house for.
Tipping point though, probably top 5 easiest to win a couple of grand.
Well, the questions are stupidly easy, but
Premier
just
League in
looking at
season.
it's definitely easier than Premier League in season, especially if you're trying to run a fucking Everton stat like me.
Such high scores this weekend.
Right, I've got an answer, by the way.
Go on, Em.
Oh.
Even though he didn't play this weekend, I still think he'll be up there with Heung-min Son.
Ooh, he killed me. I had him as captain.
So, Hyun-min Son.
You look like you're scrolling fast, so I don't like this.
Is not on the list.
Number 13.
He's not even in the top 20.
Is he not?
No.
I know he's having a shit season.
That's not once been my choice.
Right. We've had City, we've had Liverpool. Who was that Man United player again? It's not him.
There can be players from multiple players from the same club. I will say that.
Oh, yeah. I spunk my load on fucking Dwight McNeil. He did me.
That's on you.
Funnily enough, because Adam's done that multiple times.
Saka.
Yeah, many times.
Sorry, so again.
Bukayo Saka.
Okay, so Bukayo Saka
He's got to be
is tenable. He has the
similar
same
to
amount
Palmer,
of shots on target as Palmer and Watkins.
I think you've done this to me before, Matt, where you've said something that gives me a clue, but it actually didn't help me. Where you've said that it could be from the same team, because you're not going to give me any.
Is this where the other person's supposed to say, "Oh, I got one. Yeah, I got one."
Usually, yeah. Unless you're up against Aaron, and then he never does that, so you're all right.
No,
I've definitely got one. I've got one.
I'm sure I've only ever won 1 or 2 of these, and we've been doing it for months now.
Yeah.
We need to have a timer, don't we?
I'm gonna just say, and this is you've baited me in here big time, because I think he's going to be another Liverpool player on here who has a lot of shots but doesn't score as many as he should do, in Darwin Núñez.
Well, one thing I'll say to that, mate, is Darwin Núñez
He hasn't even played this season.
He's barely played.
Is he not? Oh, fuck, I didn't know that.
He started against Bournemouth as his only start, I believe, this season in the Prem. So
he had 6 shots on target in that game.
He had 6 offsides. He wasn't offside.
If it was shots off target, you'd probably be right.
I didn't know he were injured, to be fair.
So
good ball knowledge from you.
So is that a win for Mark?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Is it not sudden death? Do I not have to say someone that actually is?
Well, no, because
I would have gone for Luis. I would have gone for Luis Diaz next.
Yeah, that's who I would have gone for another Liverpool player.
And Luis Diaz is tenable.
Mark, can I?
That's who I said if I knew Núñez were injured.
Can I ask if Chris Wood is actually in the top 10? He must be. He must be up there.
He is. Well. So he is one of those. So he's 12th, but he's got the same amount as 10th. So he is in there.
In Aaron's defence of lack of ball knowledge, surely Dominic Solanke's higher than Heung-min Son.
He is indeed. So I'll read the list. Erling Haaland, 21. Mo Salah, 14. Nicholas Jackson, 10 shots on target.
Just never fucking scored.
Oh, shit, yeah.
So all on 9 was Cole Palmer, Bukayo Saka, Dom Solanke, and Ollie Watkins. And then on 8, you've got Luis Diaz, Kai Havertz, Raul Jimenez. Yeah.
Brian has had more shots on target than he's had passes.
Probably.
Yeah, it's about right.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Brian Mbeumo and Chris Wood.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Interesting that Mbeumo's in there. Been out for a couple of games, hasn't he? Or he's got... Oh, it's Wissa that's been out, isn't it? My bad.
So,
come on then, Mark. It's 1-0 to the Liverpool contingent.
How well do you boys know the United States of America?
not.
I'll go
not
with the
very
Premier
well at
League
all.
category, please. Premier League for 10.
How well do you know the states of America?
Well, it depends. I can tell you some
travelled around the
states.
fucking
Yeah.
country.
I feel like that's why the question's there.
What I would like to know
No, it's going to be. Is it like populous states?
is exactly that.
Yeah. Fuck's
Is
sake.
what
So I would like to know the
What?
top 10 most populous states in the United States of America.
Highest population has.
I would say for illiterate men like me, that means highest population.
The one with the most people in, mate.
Does it count if they've got more fingers than toes? Because that's what most of them have in America, I think, in some of these.
That just depends where you go, that, doesn't it?
That's just racist.
So basically, Alaska is Dwight McNeil in this is the equivalent, yeah, over this one. Yeah?
I think Alaska's more Darwin Núñez in this instant. Do you want to go first again?
Well, I might as well take the opportunity to try and sneak in California.
But yeah, that's what I would have gone for.
California is numero uno
Yeah.
with just under 39 million.
It's difficult because do you go like sheer size or like where are the big cities? So I'm going to go for a little bit of both. I'll say Texas.
Texas, which I believe is the largest land mass, is the second most populous state with just over 30 million people.
Big difference, huh? 9 million
I
already.
feel as though you've missed a trick here, Mark. I think you could have connected these questions with baseball or basketball.
I should have done really, yeah.
Sport that happens to be on Sorare, maybe.
He's only just getting into the presenting business. Give him time.
Yeah.
I think last time he picked one, it were the
Ben
UK's favourite
Shepherd's good
crisps.
for another 12 months then, yeah?
Yeah, I think he's all right for now.
All right,
To be
I'll
fair,
go with,
Ben Shepherd doesn't set the questions in Mark's defence.
No.
I'll go with Florida.
Florida, number 3, 22 million people. So again, quite a drop.
Yeah. Trying to think again where there's like decent sized cities. I will go Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania is number 5.
That's a good call.
Just under 13 million people.
Pittsburgh and
Even though I embarrassed myself, I'm so glad I got Premier League.
Yeah, I'm going to start throwing out names that aren't even states next. There we go.
Sometimes we like to go random on this, don't we? We've had some random.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
What, like top 10 brand of crisps?
Yeah. And then it's bullshit as well. It's absolute bullshit.
Yeah, it's
Absolute
like Royster's beef.
Fucking nonsense, man. Absolute nonsense.
Gonna go with New Mexico.
New Mexico. So by the way I'm scrolling down my iPad here,
That's not good news for sports fans.
it's not a good sign. Let me have a look.
The 53rd.
New Mexico, apparently, according to this, only has just over 2 million people. So New Mexico is 36th on the list.
What's the like biggest city? Albuquerque. That's New Mexico, right?
No clue.
Thanks,
Probably.
Aaron. Thanks for your input. I was more going for Mark, who I literally. So what I'll say is, even though I've obviously just travelled a lot of America, me and Mark, when we did the Road to Glory podcast episode last week, he literally showed me his screen and can place on a blank map every state in the US.
Oh wow!
It was very impressive. It was very impressive. He did get one wrong. He got one wrong, but you know, it was.
And when did you get your
Wasn't
autism
it
result
the
back?
first one I got wrong? It was really hard.
No. It was a couple in. It was a couple in, mate. But you pulled it back. Bournemouth 2-0 up back now, by the way, as.
Yeah, Tavernier not involved.
Who is playing tonight anyway? Is it Bournemouth?
Bournemouth, Southampton. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'll tell you who's
derby
playing.
that no one cares about.
You boys are playing Tenable.
Yeah, what
Right.
was my guess?
Mark has lost a life. Let's go for Adam.
This is where it gets tough though now, isn't it? So what have we had? We've had 1, 2, 3,
You've had
5.
1, 2, 3, and 5, and 36.
that was unnecessary.
Darwin
That was unnecessary.
Nunes stroke Joshua Xerxes.
1, 2, 3, 5. I will say Nashville. No, I won't. I'll say Tennessee.
I'll take your first answer.
Yeah,
Do we
that's
take
rancid.
first
That's poor.
I don't
so
think
poor.
I don't think you can take it.
No, that's on me. That.
So if
Which means National isn't in it.
well, what I got to take your first answer, which was
Yeah,
Nashville.
hey, listen, that's only
unfortunately.
fair.
Yeah,
Only fair. It's like when we did outfield players, and I immediately gave you a goalkeeper.
yeah.
It's
So
such a shame if Mark gave the right answer this time.
unfortunately, what would you say? It's the music capital of the world, country music capital of the world.
Literally, Music City.
Yeah, it's not one of the most populous states in America.
Fucking knobhead, man.
Equaliser.
That's so poor.
Equaliser with a pen given.
Equaliser.
Yeah, it's like
no
it's
shot
like
target required.
Error leading to pen.
I've just scored, but VAR's brought it back for a pen on the other side. That's what's just happened.
I am going to go. It's taken me the length of you guys having some banter there for me to even think about the actual state in which this is. I'm just going by sports teams and going, what on earth is the state that sports team is in? So I've gone with Chicago, but I'm not saying Chicago like, that one. No, I'm going with Illinois.
Oh, I got excited. I got so excited.
You thought he was going to say Chicago, didn't you?
I did.
Illinois is number 6 on the list.
Yeah.
12.5 million people.
I deserve to
Redemption
lose.
time, Adam.
I deserve to lose. So if it's wrong, then it's on me, isn't it? I'll say Tennessee, which I fucking meant to say last time.
Yeah. So
please be number 10, because then
Tennessee.
11's good with me.
Tennessee, that you meant to say last time, is number 15 on the list. So you've lost anyway.
So I've lost 2 lives. I knew that. Fucking knew that were going to happen. Lost 2 lives for the same answer. You fucking idiot.
So
we thought the New Mexico comment was the Darwin Nunes answer. That's got a topic.
No, that's not even fucking Darwin Nunes. That's like me trying to say Lyle Foster.
Yeah.
It's just wrong league. It doesn't apply. It's terrible.
That's the Ali Dia of.
Yeah, it is.
So does that mean Mark wins that one?
Whitewash.
Yeah.
Can I just say I don't think either of those felt like victories. I'm happy and all that, but I don't feel as I really pushed the barrier there to take down the champion.
So the
felt more like a Make-A-Wish Foundation event than anything. That was charitable at best.
The top 10: California, Texas, Florida, New York, which I don't think you said.
New York's so small, though.
Yeah, it's one of the largest.
So populous, though.
Yeah,
it's very populous. Yeah.
Pennsylvania, she said. Illinois, which she said, and then number 7 was Ohio with just under 12 million. Then Georgia with just over 11 million, and then number 9, which I believe is where Michael Jordan played college basketball, North Carolina.
Yeah. Is
that right? Yeah. Just over 10 million, and then number 10 was Michigan.
Yeah,
with again just over 10 million. Would you like to have a guess at what the least populous state is?
I already did. New Mexico.
It's got to be Alaska.
Alaska is 3rd from bottom. It's just in the relegation zone.
So I wonder if, purely based on size, is it Rhode Island?
It's not Rhode Island. Rhode
not?
Island is 44th. So
That's pretty good for the size of it.
purely based on size is the wrong
Rhode
avenue,
Island is actually
the wrong avenue, because the least, according to this, least populous state is Wyoming, which isn't. It's quite a large state.
I feel like that's just because no one gives
It's in the middle of nowhere. No one wants to live there.
Yeah,
It's just
exactly. Yeah, who cares?
It's like the Burnley of.
Oh, fuck off. I've already said Nashville for a question about states. Do we need to rub it in? Scott Parker's our manager. I don't need this shit. But because we're terrible at quizzes, shall we go into another game, Aaron, that we're shit at?
Yeah, because we did
week.
last time.
I was promised that if I won the quiz, that I would get some essence or maybe a level up. Is that something that you guys facilitate? Or
I promise.
All my level ups.
I promise. I will find a way to give you one essence. I'll find a way.
I'll find a way to receive it.
Let me message my one person at Sorare.
If you win and whitewash the tenable, you have to give away a unique. Wasn't that the rule?
Oh, we did say that.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah,
that's probably worth less than the essence. So I'm done. I've got a good deal out of that. By the sounds of it. I can find you a nice Gianluigi Buffon who won't see the light of day ever again.
That'd be pretty cool, though. Also, Bournemouth are now 3-0 up. Fucking hell, running riot.
Wow. Yeah, Tavernier not involved again, I know.
It now means that I'm losing my rivals game as well, which I might as well just chuck myself out my window after this last 5 minutes. Aaron, would you like to explain the concept of Sorare darts, mate?
I shall, seeing as though it's been a couple of weeks since we last played the game. Sorare darts is where you pick 3 players, any position, any team, any cap, whatever you want, and your aim is to get 180 points from those 3. If you go over the 180, your score just doesn't count. You are bust. Anything under 180 is a score. So, 2 weeks ago, we had Chris Sorare on a budget on, who went with O'Hara from St Mirren, who got a 60.8. Usame from Gamba. Oh, no, I think he played against Gamba. Got 49.3. He had Nakatani from Gamba, who got a 78.6. Chris did message me after the games before Opta changes, saying I'm on for pretty much 180 again. Opta added another 8 points, so he got 188.7.
Perfect. Shit! So he was really on for.
Yeah, he was
absolutely
close,
bang on. Oh
yeah.
Wow.
In fact, let me find his message because I actually said to him, "It doesn't matter. It's about when we record, not what they are now."
Good response, Aaron.
186 from my 3 due to a last-minute equaliser. He was on 176 before it went in. So
that's nowhere near anyway.
No, it would have been the highest score so far.
I think we had someone get 178 point something, didn't we?
In season 1, seeing as though we're in season 2 somehow, someone funded it again for another season.
There's no money in this.
Well, M-Pen got 179.8.
Jesus, I didn't realise it was that close.
Yeah, that was his.
So you're
that
looking
was
ideally at 3 strikers that don't do anything other than score a goal and then do bugger all else, yeah?
We've had people go that road before.
The 3 he had, as an example, were Bruno Guimaraes on a 90.4, Isaac on a 60, so he's got his decisive and nothing. And he then went Onana, who got a 29.4, because I'm pretty sure Newcastle played Man United that weekend. So he picked the striker and keeper, so it worked that way, which clearly worked very well, which doesn't surprise me with someone who's so statistical as he is.
Yeah, I know. We shouldn't have been surprised.
This season, you will be surprised, because the podcast is currently top of the leaderboard. On 176 was our best so far.
That's not bad. Is that while I was away by any chance?
It was.
I actually, it was, yeah.
Doesn't surprise me.
And Russ is the highest scoring guest so far on 173.3.
Before we make our selections, the producer of the pod is just ringing into me. You need to mention something before.
Someone who's got the script to this can read that out if that's all right. Because I don't know this.
What do you mean there's no script? When have we ever had a script? No, go on. I'm desperate. I'm desperate for you to do this. You do it.
Oh, right. So
here we go. This is gonna be class.
This week's section of Sorare Darts. Hold on, I feel like I need to warm up for this. This week's segment of Sorare Darts is brought to you by Predictify. The lineup predictor website, which is almost as accurate as the ones on Sorare that say 0%, even though they are guaranteed to start that week.
Not the best.
It is a very good prediction website. There will be a link below in the description, which you can sign up through to get a membership per division or one that gets you access to all three. The boys over there are doing a bloody good job. It is going very well, and they are probably more accurate than, I won't like to say it as a definite, but they are very accurate because they actually have experts making the decision rather than generic people. So thank you to those. There you go, Adam. Is that all right for you?
That sounded really sincere, actually, really sincere, and not read straight from the screen. So well done.
No, I like that. A bit of authenticity, mate. Really nice.
That's the word.
I feel like next time I'm going to write it down and I'll read it properly, so I don't have to wing it on the spot.
It's going to sound worse.
It's going to sound a lot worse because I'm dyslexic, so I'll probably write it wrong.
If anything, that was more memorable.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad you did that. I'm really proud of you.
I've already got my pick for this weekend coming.
I need to have a look. Yeah, go on. Talk me through it. Give me a fairly lengthy description because I ain't got a fucking clue what I'm doing.
I've got mine, if that helps.
Yeah, I've nailed it.
You go first, Mark. You go first.
So, because the Premier League hates us, we are the Saturday lunchtime kickoff, I believe, next weekend away at Crystal Palace.
When you said us, by the way, I thought you meant the podcast for a minute, and I thought, what have we done? They don't know about us.
I knew exactly.
Well, if Everton can beat Crystal Palace, then we probably got a good chance.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true.
Nah,
but
Cristambul 2.0 is coming through.
So not to go full Klopp on it, but tough fixture away, lunchtime on Saturday, away at Palace. I'm going to pick a midfielder who's been arguably our best midfielder so far this season. Come in and surprised everyone expecting us to buy a central defensive midfielder, Zubimendi. We nearly brought him in, but Mr. Ryan Gravenberch has stepped up to the plate and has actually played very, very well so far this season. Now, for someone that has only got one, not in the Premier League. His decisive came for Netherlands, but in the Premier League, he's had 0 decisives for us. But he has scored at least 60 points in every Premier League game, barring the opening game against Ipswich. And without a decisive, he scores between 60 and 70 points every week.
Sounds like an absolute jinx. This dude's going to probably get a bang on the first 10 minutes now.
Probably. Yeah.
I have missed your over explanation of your picks, Mark.
Yeah.
It is a long time coming, and I've genuinely enjoyed listening to that. But thank you.
Because I still haven't got a fucking clue. You do one as well as.
Well, I've got one, and he is a new signing for the gallery. He's on serious form, and he's in a away fixture, and he goes by the name of Troy Parrott, who
fucking rat.
I've picked him up this week for a new in-season challenger team, and I thought, why not give him a run out on darts as well, seeing as I'm cursed normally anyway, so at least I can ruin 2 separate games rather than 1.
Well, there's a strong chance. Because there's a strong chance you're ruining 3 games because I've got a fucking AZ Alkmaar collection. So you picking up Troy Parrott has probably absolutely fucked me, to be honest. But because I thought, do you know what? First week back, I'm not just going to come in, pick a Burnley player, pick an ex-Burnley player. I'll pick someone that's in my gallery on Sorare that I've just picked up. So I was going to pick Ruben van Bommel, who is a forward for AZ Alkmaar. So that's exactly what I'm going to do.
Yeah, look at that.
He assists Troy Parrott.
And they both get an 80, and Gravenberch gets 40, and we absolutely smash it. 20. Sorry, bad maths.
That's really bad maths. That's really bad. Oh God. Yeah.
Well, no, I'll take 200. To be fair, it's better than we normally do.
Oh, Nicholas Pepe scored.
So do I reveal somebody now?
Yeah, you reveal all 3, mate.
All 3
of the ones that you want, yeah.
Well, I'm going to go with some Liverpool lunchtime players. I think it'd be remiss of me not to. So I'm going to go Trent He's going to bang you 100. That's guaranteed. I'm then going to go Mo Salah. Mo Salah's getting 80, 79.9, maybe 80. That. And then there's a toss-up. I was thinking of going with Kelleher because I know he's not going to play, so we don't need any points from him. Or if we're going with the theme of people in your gallery that you bought recently that won't play, I picked up what I hope will be a young superstar by the name of Francesco Camada from AC Milan, who scored about a gazillion goals at youth level. No exaggeration, a gazillion in about 10 games.
I would like that verifying. That feels like a lot.
And I feel that he won't step foot on the pitch at all. And so again, his Sorare card, his in-season card is already plummeting to 0 as we speak. He will get the grand sum of 0. So I'm going to go Trent 100, Salah 80, this dude 0. Bing, game over.
I respect it.
Two-man lineup, 2 at the board and 1 miss.
I think, actually, funnily enough, I think the only other person to go for 2 smashes and a 0 was PSU fans on our pod.
Was he the one that went Dembele and Mbappe?
Something like that.
Someone went Dembele, Mbappe, and a DMP.
Yeah.
Yeah, and got, I think, like 174. Or they might have bust.
It's funny how these unique and super rare players' minds think, isn't it? Just smash it.
Yeah, I mean, I did buy Dominic Solanke recently, and he's a 60 merchant, isn't he? He feels like he's a 60 merchant.
Interesting fact about Dominic Solanke. Do you know that he's had the joint 4th most shots on target in the Premier League this season?
Has he had more than Nunes? You joking me?
He's had more than Nashville as well. Shit.
Nunes has broken more seats at the back of Anfield Road than any other player.
There's more seats in the back of Anfield Road than there is in New Mexico, to be fair, as well.
There is.
Definitely wants with people in, anyway. Well, I think I've suitably embarrassed myself enough. Anything else you boys want to talk about before we ski-daddle on this fine Monday evening?
Don't think so. I just want to thank, obviously, Mark for coming on. It's been a pleasure to finally, I say, virtually meet you, mate.
Put a face to a big name that you see around a lot. So yeah, nice. Thanks very much for coming on, mate. But we'll leave it there for this week. We'll be back obviously tomorrow for the RTG, but next week for the podcast. So thanks for watching as always, and for now, bye.
Take it easy.
Au revoir.